Hey, welcome back. Kurt Mortensen here. Just finished a podcast at MaximizeYourInfluence.com on how to turn that no into a yes. Something I know that you want. Fewer no's, more yeses, and that's what I want you to focus on. So this video, I supersize things that you need to do to really understand the concepts we talked about in the podcast. So this video, like it, hit subscribe, do what you need to do. MaximizeYourInfluence.com is everything you need to know. But on the podcast, I talked about foot in the door technique. And I want to supersize that a little bit. Yeah, foot in the door comes from the old technique from the salespeople in the 60s where they put your foot in the door and you couldn't shut it. They had to listen to you. Now, we don't do it that way anymore. But what foot in the door is we found that it's easier to persuade people in sequential steps than one big ask. So if you're getting a lot of no's, what you're asking is too big, you have to break it down to smaller pieces. Did you catch that? Asking 3 smaller questions is easier than getting one big question. That was the focus. That's what I talked about on the podcast. But you really have to understand foot in the door and the power it has in your ability to persuade and influence. In fact, this technique comes from Freedman and Fraser. They did some really interesting studies. One I didn't mention in the podcast was used in a residential area. They asked people to put these big, huge billboards in their yards. Right? Drive safe, keep America beautiful. Huge, ugly billboards. And of course the answer is no, I'm not going to do that. But when they asked them to put a small sticker in their window with the same message and then later came back and asked them for the large billboard, some of the people said yes with that sequential request. So you want to get as many yeses as possible. That is the key factor. Some examples would be politics, for example, wearing a pin of the candidate, asking for a small donation, on the internet just asking for an email or forwarding an ebook or hitting subscribe or sharing a post. These are all little steps that can lead to bigger steps. If you had a forum that asked people 10 things about themselves, you want their address and their mother's maiden name and their email and their nickname, right? Compliance goes down. Time you ask for something on the internet, compliance goes down. So just an email, not even a name, just an email is much easier to get than a name and email, which is much easier to get than a name, email, and an address. I think you see what I'm saying here. That's what you need to do. So this is how it works. This is how you implement it. First thing you want to do is look at that ask. Where are you getting the no's and break that down into 3, maybe 4 smaller yeses. Then you got to decide as soon as possible during your presentation or on that phone call, you get that first yes. Then you want to get the second yes. Then you want to get the third yes. Your goal is to do that all in the same presentation, not 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, do it all in the same presentation. And each yes you get, that next yes is easier and easier to get. So final thing, look at your presentation and look at the things where you need to get that affirmative response, that yes, and do the easiest issues first. So make a list of the easiest issues you want first. In business, it would be, when do you want it delivered? Okay, you want to start there. Not with price, not with terms, but when do you want it delivered? What color you're looking for. Just easy things up front that you can get that easy yes. These skills work. These techniques are powerful. Most persuaders only have 3 or 4 tools. Get more tools. So thanks for listening. Hit subscribe, hit the like. Go to MaximizeYourInfluence.com. Become a better persuader, become a better influencer, and go out and persuade with power.